you go. All right. I want to welcome you guys to training tonight. I'm going to apologize right now for the glitch that happened. So we are recording this, and hopefully you guys can see my screen. So my name is Vicki Cody. I'm with High Tech Kids, and on the call tonight we also have Jeannie Badger. So we'll ask you to, you can either unmute and ask a question, or you can put it into chat as we're going along. Jeannie will try to answer those questions in chat the best she can. And if it's something that we need to share it with everyone, Jeannie will make sure that everybody hears it. All right. So just to let you, I mean, you guys should all know this. The event is going to be at Capitol Hill on January 28th. Parking can sometimes be challenging. I mean, the maze in the Capitol Hill lot, I think, is fairly large, but if we have a lot of parents coming, the only thing I want to point out is there's American Lung Association across the street from Capitol Hill, and if they have an event that day, they will tow your car. So if you have parents coming, just make sure you tell them not to park in the American Lung Association parking lot. And it's really, it's right there, and it's really enticing, and you really want to park your car there, but please don't. And then just make sure you're telling them to enter through those blue doors that face I-94, because that will bring them into right where the information desk is, and then we can direct them to wherever they're going. Just a reminder that this event is free and open to the public, so you can invite your parents and grandparents and whoever else, you know, wants to join us. And this year, different than last year, we're back to pre-COVID. Spectators can come in and watch everything, the robots, the judging sessions, everything. And also, as you guys probably already know, facial coverings are optional this year. All right, so we do have required forms that we'd like you guys to fill out. The big one is the demographic survey, and we're asking you to fill this out before the event. And the reason we're doing that is because we are stuffing envelopes with medals and pin based on the numbers that you are giving us on this demographic survey, so that we can pre-stuff these envelopes. We really need these demographic surveys filled out. So if you go to the St. Paul specific tournament page, and that's right off our website, you would go to First Lego League, then hit tournament schedule. And then I have a section just for the Minneapolis and St. Paul events only. Go to the St. Paul page, and it can take you to this WUFU form that is the St. Paul only demographic survey. We just condensed it for you guys, so you don't have to cycle through 500 First Lego League teams. It's just the St. Paul teams. Also on your tournament page is a PDF version of the first consent and release. We also posted a Spanish version because we found
I'm
that
sorry
recently.
to interrupt, Vicki.
Yeah.
They still can't get in, so they're gonna watch the recording.
They can't get into this one?
Yeah. She said she's still getting a message that's saying the owner's in another meeting. And she said I confirmed that she was using the right link, and it is.
Okay. All right. All right. So again, I apologize for that. Not sure what happened there. So anyway, so the first consent and release form is also on that page. So, and we have it in the English version and the Spanish version if you need it that way.
Anne's right there.
Oh,
I made it.
You
Great.
liar.
I did make it. I made it.
All right. All you missed, Anne, was where you're going. You're going to Capitol Hill. Okay. Okay. So what to bring? So High Tech Kids, for the pit area only, for your practice tables, please bring your loose parts. And what I mean is the stuff that's not dual lockdown. So High Tech Kids is going to provide the mat and those mission models that are stuck down. So you need to bring your dinosaurs, your truck, your car, those little energy units, the water units, the minifigs we're also going to not have out there. Anything that can walk away, because we are going to have to use these kits for our state championship after we get done with your event. So bring your loose pieces, throw them in a Ziploc bag, have your team number on them. because if you leave them behind, then I know who to give them back to. The other thing that I want you to bring are those signed consent and release forms. So you'll be turning those into us. And then, don't forget things like your robot, attachments, stuff like that. Your computer, your tablet, however the kids are doing their programming. I would also suggest to bring a power strip. We're going to give you access to power, but it's going to be like one thing that you could plug in. So if you need to power more than one thing at a time, a power strip is a really good thing to have in like your bucket of stuff. And I would also bring extra Lego pieces. Kids get inspired during the day. They might see a team do something and they say, hey, if I had an arm that went the other way, I can do that. And they can try to add missions. Or we all know these are toys. Toys break, wheels fall off, stuff happens. It's just good to have extra pieces with you. All right. So when you arrive, so we're going to be, Capitol Hill has that big entry, which is really nice. So if you're in wave 1, check-in opens at 8:00. And I know you guys are coming on buses, so we will be there ready. And if you are in wave 2, you will be arriving in and around 12:15. So if you are not coming on the bus, and you're in wave 2 and you want to come early, you're welcome to come early, but you're not going to be able to go to your pit table because those pit tables are being used by the teams in the morning wave. So you can come, but you just won't be able to have access to the pits. So also at check-in, that's when I need those forms that I just talked about that you're having your parents sign. And then what I'm going to turn on and give to you is I'm going to give to you an envelope. And it's going to have medals for each one of your kids in it. It's going to have little lapel pins for each child, +2 for coaches. And then we're going to do wristbands again this year. So you will get wristbands and they're all color coded. So we're going to put your team number on your wristbands. And that's going to help when you go into judging and when your kids go to run their robot. If they don't know their team number, it's going to be right on their wrist. And it's also a good thing for our judges to make sure that you're in the right judging group. So our judges will also have wristbands. So if you are in a judging session and your kids are wearing green wristbands and you see the judge is wearing a blue wristband, I would just ask and say, are we in the right place? We're supposed to be in this group, So color coding, we love color coding here. So, all right, our general event schedule, which is on our website. Like I said before, wave 1, the doors will open at 8, but I'll probably be standing there earlier in case the buses come a little early. But our general schedule is you'll be there for about 4 hours. You'll do the practice robot round in the big gym with our referees first. Then at the same little bit later, judging will start. And then your next 3 robot rounds will be sort of your real ones that get scored. And then you'll pack up and you'll leave, and then wave 2 will come and they'll do the exact same thing. And then at 6:00 on our Twitch channel will be the awards ceremony. So is there any questions about the general schedule? Anything? We're good? All right. 2 waves
I have
this year.
one
Yeah.
quick question.
Okay.
The judging period from 9 to 11:15, is that when students have present their innovation project?
So there will be a detailed team schedule. So and I'll go over this in just in a second, but there will be a team.
Okay.
You'll have an actual time that you go to do your innovation project and another time where you go and talk about the design of your robot. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I know St. Paul has some new coaches. So I put in this new slide. What is a pit area? So in Capitol Hill has these big atriums. And so what we're going to do is we're putting tables in the atrium, and there's going to be a sign on each table that'll say your team number, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fuzzy bunnies. And that is going to be your table. That's your home base. And that's where the kids are going to plop themselves down and put their coats, and you can put your project stuff out there. And that's just your space for your stuff. We are going to group schools together because some of you are coaching more than one team or associated with more than one team. So we're going to put schools together. And so when you check in, I'll let you know they have two different atriums, and I'll let you know if it's I think they have green and blue and green, or blue and green atrium. I think is what they have. And we'll let you know where to go. And that's why please don't move tables, because it could be that I've got what you're moving, you might move a teacher away from their other team. So, but those tables will have access to power, like I said before. And those tables are round ones with little stools in them. So there should be enough seating, hopefully for your kids. Also in each one of those atriums is going to be a practice table, which you can use. The kids are going to want to get there. They're going to want to turn their robot on, right? They're going to want to try it. But if they want to, and that's what those tables are there for. They can try stuff, they can test stuff, they can, do a little of their own practice round before maybe they do the real practice round and their real runs. Those tables are there for you guys to use. We just ask that you limit your time to 5 minutes, especially if other teams are waiting, so that everybody gets a chance, to use the practice tables. Okay, so when you're at the event, if you have general questions about the competition. So in the main gym where you're going to be running your robot, there will be a head referee, and actually at your event, there might be two. But if you have questions about the game, you can go in there, you can ask really any referee, but they will refer you to the head referee. If you have questions about judging, there'll be a head judge roaming around upstairs. All the judging will be upstairs in Capitol Hill. Ask them. When in doubt, the High Tech Kids staff, we have purple jackets and shirts, and so we're running around in purple. So you'll find us running around, or the officials room is in the cafeteria, which is at the back of the blue atrium. So usually you can find one of us there if you have questions. So your event has 4 judging groups, and they will be Lakes, Woods, Marsh, and Prairie. So for new people, you are only competing against the teams in your group. So you're really only competing against 11 other teams. And this is how we break it down and make this a little bit more manageable. So in each judging group, we award an entire set of awards. So just don't think you're going into this event and competing against 48 other teams. We kind of break it down a little bit. Okay, so getting into judging. So just some general things. Like I said before, anyone can go watch judging. So invite your parents in so they can see what their kids have been doing for, all these weeks. We'll ask that you guys silence your phones. And if your kids have phones, remind them to silence those too. I've been in judging sessions where kids are in the middle of a sentence and their phone goes off and it buzzes, and kids can't help but answer their phone, right? Or pull out their phone. So just make sure everybody has their phone silenced so that they can just focus. It's only 15 minutes. Promise them they won't miss an important phone call. It's only 15 minutes. So remind your parents to make sure you're staying there the entire time, because when spectators are going in and out during that 15 minutes, it's disruptive to the kids, and the judges also kind of, the kids will lose their train of thought, the judges will lose their train of thought. Just if you go into that room, just stay there that whole time. So when you check in for judging, the check-in person is going to tell you what room to go down to. Just wait outside that room until the judges invite you in. The judges have a little 5 minutes between each session so they can write notes and stuff. And so when they're ready, they'll, come out and say, hey, come on in, we're ready for you. So you're going to have 2 judging sessions. One of them is going to be robot design. So for this session, make sure you're bringing your robot, your attachments, and a way to show your programs, whether it's on a computer or maybe you've printed out your programs. That's fine too. And if you've done any sort of presentation, like a trifold board or sometimes people do a notebook or whatever. Have the kids bring all that stuff. They will have 5 minutes if they want, they don't have to give a presentation about the journey that their robot has taken. And then after that 5 minutes, there'll be 10 minutes of like Q&A from the judges. And that's the same thing for the innovation project. So bring all your stuff for your projects. And these will not be back to back. These will be 5 minute, a 15-minute session. And then you might do something else. You might go run your robot. Then you might go back to your pits, and then you might do your project, and then you go run your robot again. So these aren't back to back. So you won't have to be hauling all your stuff at the same time. But just keep in mind that your presentation is limited to 5 minutes, and it does include any sort of setup that you might have. Keep in mind, we don't provide projectors. If you're projecting something, I'm not even sure if Capitol Hill has projection screens anymore. I'm not sure. Schools keep changing their technology. So whatever you need to make sure you're bringing in with you. All right, so for robot performance, so when you go and run your robot, you're going to be going to the main gym, and it's going to be right across the hall from where both of these pit areas are. Your team's going to check in. There's going to be a check-in station. That person then is going to ask the kids to wait until the referees are ready for them. So when the kids go to the performance tables, we're asking that only the kids go back to the performance tables. We want to remind everybody that the robots are autonomous. So with Spike Prime, it's really easy to test your robot and everything by pushing the button from your, iPad or your laptop. And that's a great way to practice. But before you come to the event, make sure you've downloaded all your programs right onto your hub, because all your programs for the event have to be run from your hub. If you don't know how to do that, or if you're not sure if you have stuff downloaded, you can contact Jeannie. She can walk you through how to download that stuff to your Spike Prime hub. Or we will have, typically Dan Carlson is there, and I'm sure Scott will be there too, kind of roaming around, making sure everybody's event ready and got everything ready. But if you need help ahead of time, certainly Jeannie's a great person to contact. So you must use the mission models that we have. And then we are doing all of our scoring on an app. And so the referees, after the 2.5 minutes, the referees will be with the kids, and they will go mission by mission. And, the referees say, oh, this one, yes, you got it. No, you didn't, whatever. And they'll go around the table, and then the kids will say, yes, I agree. Or the kids will say, well, how did you score that one over there? And then they'll talk about it. And then once they all agree, the referees will hit submit. And since we're doing this all on the tablet, it's going to hit the scoreboard automatically, like instantaneously. One thing that we're asking is reminding you, so our referees are human and mistakes happen. If you notice a mistake, have the kids chat with the head referee as soon as possible. Try not to let too many rounds go, especially if the kids thought that they got 100 points and the score that goes up there is 25. Make sure you're going and talking to that head referee and making sure something weird didn't get pushed when they hit submit, or something got forgotten, or whatever, because we can go back and fix things if a mistake was made. But if you let too many matches go, the referee's not going to remember. But if you kind of go talk to that referee right away, then we can get that fixed. So just know that your very first round is your scheduled practice round. And this we started a couple years ago. It's really been great because the kids get their nerves out, they get their jitters out, they talk to the referees, and the referees really like to use this time to help the kids feel comfortable, make sure that everybody's following the rules, that kind of a thing. And then your next 3 rounds will be your scored rounds. And again, just a reminder that we only take your highest score. It's not an average. So if you get a 30 and a 0, and a 300, we only take the 300. So we'll just take your highest score. So like I said before, we're using this app, and if you want to practice with that app with your kids, and I really recommend it, it is on our website. So if you go to hightechkids.org and go into the first Lego League section, I have this button right here, 2022 super powered. If you click on that, there's a bunch of other recordings because I have a whole bunch of stuff in there, but in there you can find the scoring app that we use. The rubrics are all there if you're interested. The robot game updates are there. No, we haven't had an update since October, so I think we're good for the rest of the year. But if there were to be an update, that's where it would be. If we do get an update, by the way, I will email Renee and Jenny and make sure that you guys all know about it. But I don't foresee one happening this month. But anyway, so there's our app is in there, and like I said, the rubrics are. So you can use that app and practice with the kids. So the kids are familiar with it. I really recommend doing that. So then they kind of get used to the way our referees are scoring. Okay, advancement and awards. So teams will advance from each judging group. Like I said, there's 4 of them. And just a reminder that it's based on equal parts of all 4 of these pieces. So what's hard is all you guys are going to see at the event is how well your robot has done. You don't see really any of the judging scoring that goes on. And really, you'll only be seeing half of the robots. So that's another hard thing, especially if you're in the morning. So just kind of keep that in mind. Typically, teams that do well are just sort of equal. They're good and they're decent in all categories, not just one. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. So it's 25% of each of those sections. The other thing I'm going to tell you guys are the very last event that we are doing before our state championship. And our state championship is 2 weeks after your event. So anyone who does advance, I need project blurbs by Monday. So I'm apologizing right now, but we put stuff in our program and I have to send the program to the printer. I will be emailing you probably on Sunday or Saturday night about how to do that. But I just kind of wanted to throw that out there that any teams that do advance, the turnaround time is going to be really tight just because it's only 2 weeks. So just letting you know. The awards. So anybody who wins awards. So we are bringing all the awards with us. And before we leave that night, we're going to package them all up and leave them with Jenny and Renee. And I'm not sure if they're getting delivered via interschool mail or the Jenny and Renee cars or how they're doing that. But they're going to make sure you guys are going to get your trophies. And then Jeannie will be sending the rubrics via email. And she usually gets those out by Monday or Tuesday. And again, like I said before, the award ceremony, 6 o'clock on our Twitch channel. Hopefully you guys will have your feet up, having some dinner, maybe watching the awards ceremony. All right. So I'm going to let Jeannie hop in here and talk about the Lego Spike 3 app.
All right, so Lego has changed the Spike app. So if you're using the Spikes, and I'm pretty sure you guys all are, do not upgrade to the Spike 3 app. The programs that you've written in the Spike 2 are not compatible with the Spike 3 app. So I know that you guys have to go through the school to get it anyway. And I told Renee and I told Jenny, if you guys ask for it, to deny it. Especially if you advance the state, do not upgrade to the Spike 3 app. It just is going to be, it's a bit of a nightmare, and you can kind of go backwards, but it is a lot of work. So, so wait till the season is done, and hopefully they will get the bugs that are in it also fixed. So fair warning. So just tell your kids, because it does ask you, do you want to update? And tell them no. That's all I got.
Just say no. All right. So before we get to robot game questions, are there any other general questions? Nope.
Nothing
All
in the
right.
chat.
All right. So,
I have a quick question about the update.
yeah.
So when I turned on my Spike robots at the beginning of the year, like in September, October, it said that they needed to update. Is that different from this update that we're talking about now?
Yeah, that was actually a firmware update to kind of get things going. This is basically the Spike 3 app is a totally different app is what they're explaining it to me as. So whatever you've written in 2 is not going to be readable in 3. They've taken blocks away. They've changed some of the general way of things that how they work. So if whatever you did at the beginning, you're fine. If things are working fine, you're great. But you probably see when the kids are logging in that it may be saying, update, try Spike 3. Just don't do it
Okay, sounds good.
until after your season. Then you're welcome to do whatever you want.
Jeannie, do you want to talk a little bit about the game? Generally?
Yeah, so and these guys have already listened to me twice. So
Oh, okay.
they may not want to listen to me anymore. The biggest things that we are seeing at the tournaments is teams coming without their programs downloaded to their hub. They've been practicing running off the iPad, just pushing that button. We are not even going to let the iPads come in the gym. So you want to make sure that, especially the last 2 weeks here, that they are practicing having it downloaded to their hub and then selecting the program off of their hub. It's going to be run from there. The other big thing that we're kind of seeing is kids are not understanding. So when they come to the table, they will either be either at that red hub, the one on the left, the red home on the left, or the blue home on the right, and they can't go back and forth between those, and they cannot pass the robot physically by hand from one to the other. Those are kind of the things that we are seeing. Now they can be off to the side of the red home or the blue home and swap in, but if they're on that blue side, they're going to swap in on the blue side, and they can't cross over to the red side during a performance. They can in the next performance run if they want to, but not during that performance run when they're up there. Those are kind of the big things that we are seeing going on. So I could go on and on. I'm not going to.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing is that they have to split. There has to be,
Okay,
even if you only have 2 kids, one has to stand on the red side, one has to stand on the blue side. That was a rule.
Could you have 2 people on one side and just run from that side?
No, you
No.
have to have people on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if the people standing here, like if you're doing all your runs from this red side,
Yeah.
you just need somebody standing over here. They don't even ever have to do anything.
Okay.
So
I knew that, but I thought some of the
Yeah.
new teams might just be trying to run from one side.
and
Okay.
you just still would need somebody standing on the other side, like
Oh, okay. Yep.
some other child, somebody.
And in the practice round, our refs will help them out with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the beauty of that practice round is that we get to kind of figure out, oh, we didn't understand that.
Right.
So definitely get to your scheduled practice round.
Right.
Yeah, we're probably a little different maybe than some of the other schools because we're running. Every kid's going to run a mission for us.
And that's fine. But like I said, if they start on that red side, they cannot run their mission and then go over to the blue side and run another mission. So just make sure if they're running from the red side, they need to get their body there, plunked there, and ready to go.
Stay
because
there.
Once we say 3, 2, 1 Lego, they're not going to be able. Same thing with after they've done the inspection. They can do the inspection in either the red or the blue. Hopefully everything they've got fits in one or the other, because that's where they get the bonus points. And then they, once they've passed inspection, then they want to spread their stuff out. And if something is supposed to be used in that red one and they did inspection in the blue home, make sure that gets there before the match starts. Because once that match starts, they can't go, whoops, this is for that one and hand it over. That's not
Yep.
allowed.
Yeah.
So that just takes some practice.
You may have mentioned this. So could you have one robot in the red area and one in the blue, or there should be one robot on the board per game?
They can only have one robot because they're only allowed one controller, it's called, and that's what the hub is. And they're only
Okay.
allowed for a total of 4 motors. If you have 2 robots, you can bring one to match 1 and a different one to your second match. And then whichever one is working better, maybe that's the one you bring to your third match. But at the performance table, you can only have one. You can only have one in the performance area even. So if you kind of come in on a cart and you got 2 in your hands, they're going to actually stop you and say, nope, one of those has to go back to the pit area.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I think you'd mentioned that only the teams are allowed at the boards during the competition.
Mhm.
Are the coaches allowed to be there with them as well, or do they have to stand back?
Nope, they need to be on the other. So we'll have a barrier, like we'll have stanchions, like caution tape type of thing. And they can stand on the other side cheering.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, they're pretty close. And very often they're yelling something.
Yeah. Understatement for me.
Yes. Wrong
Just yell
mission.
it in your head.
Go to the right, go to the left. Wrong one. Wheel fell off. I don't know,
Yeah.
So
Do it again. Do it again.
yes, do it again is probably the thing most yelled. And I think it's funny because I'm not sure if the kids can even hear you. But all right.
So I had one question on the robot. Maybe it's for Jeannie. So when on the Spike Prime, and when you hit download and you hit the triangle, right, to download that, you have to pick on download.
Yep, pick a slot and download.
Yeah,
It's not
pick the
triangle
number.
that downloads it. There's a little downward arrow. Download the arrow, the triangle in the yellow circle, that's a run. That's to
Okay.
run the program. But you actually want to pick your slot 0 through 19. And you do that on the software. It's in the bottom right of the palette. And then you
Yep.
pick that, and then you use that little down arrow and then download it. And usually you get a little beep, not always. And then just check the slots and make sure you see if it's in the correct slot. And when you're downloading, you want to make sure that kids are changing the slot numbers so they don't put everything in 0. Because if you put this program in 0 and then you put another program in 0, the second one is there. It's going to overwrite it.
So
And then
so
go
where's that little download? Is it close to I'm not, I just tried to get there, but I'm not paired. Is it right below that download streaming pick block?
yeah, so you've got download and you've got streaming. I'm opening it really quick.
Yeah, I'm open, but
Do
I
it.
think you have to be paired to a robot.
No, you should be able to see it. You just can't actually do the download. And then there's just a little pixelated 0. Usually it starts with a 0
Yeah.
that's in there. And that's the slot that you can select.
Oh,
Okay.
so
So if you click on that and it says download and streaming, you want to make sure it says downloading, and you can use the arrow to select whichever slot number you want it to go in. That's a
Jeannie, do you want
storage
to
position
share your
slot.
screen?
this would be
I can
good
share
for the recording.
Here, I will stop.
I see that little tiny arrow now. We've been changing that number and then hitting the yellow button, and
Yeah.
then the robot takes off too. So it's
Yep, so that is running it from the program. So you don't want to be doing that.
okay. So you
This one
okay.
here, can you see this?
so if you had it on download,
Can you see my screen, Vicki?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna download it, but you want to make sure that they are not pushing this button to
That's what we're
make
doing.
it go. They want to be pushing the button on the robot. So they're gonna have to arrow over on the robot hub and say, oh, I'm in number 1. I want to run whatever program's in slot 2, select that, and then hit that green button in the middle and to actually make it go autonomously. Because yes, this will download it, but you want control over that. And then the
So, but-
kids can have a piece of paper, and they can have one piece of paper in each one. And maybe they put, okay, in slot 1 is TV. In slot 2 is water,
Windmill,
Yeah.
windmill.
car.
So that they can have that piece of paper because you don't have the nice words like you had in EB3. I don't have one to connect. So another way you can look at what is actually downloaded and a way you can delete things that you don't want is you can connect, and I don't have a robot connected. If you click on this connect button up here in the top left, if you connect, it opens up another window, and there is in the center, it says manage files. If you click on that, you'll see all or a few, whatever programs you have with the actual name of the program, and it tells you what slot they're in. And that's how you can also delete them off of your hub if you don't want them there. So,
And you can renumber them. I think there was a guy from Capitol Hill that showed us how you can kind of drag and drop those.
yep, you can drag and drop, you can move them around. Just the
Brilliant.
big thing when you are downloading these is make sure the kids are changing the slot or putting it in the correct slot. If they just made changes to their TV program, they should be overwriting the correct one. So they may want to refer to that piece of paper and say, TV is in slot 1 and download to slot 1 or whatever slot it's in. And you can
Okay, so
change
if
things here.
if we never hit that down arrow and we only hit that yellow button, would it download and run it or just run the old one?
It depends on the version of the software. I'm trying to remember it. If you are using the Chrome app, the arrow was not downloading it. So I can't remember. They didn't
Okay.
update on me mid-season here.
Yeah, no, we can check that. I think we
Yeah.
were having some errors and I was just thinking maybe it wasn't downloading, at least maybe not even right away. Because
But you want to make sure they're downloading this and not practicing by pushing that yellow button, because
yes, yeah,
you got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to break that habit.
yeah, week and a half, but who's counting?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be, at
All
the
right.
end of this video, I think it would be helpful to get to pair a robot and show people that manage robot screen for the recording, but totally up to you guys.
Yeah, that's assuming I've got a robot here. So
Yeah.
let me see if I can track one down. All right, so I'll stop sharing and I'll see if I can get one paired.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, thanks. That was very helpful because that was my big question for the whole time. And that I'd never noticed that arrow.
Yeah, and I think we've had a fair number of people who thought it was on the hub simply because they were pushing that arrow and
Yeah.
it wasn't. So we've done a lot of, well, not me. I don't touch robots, but Jeannie has done a lot of helping people at the events, get their stuff downloaded onto their hubs. So it's not, I think it's just not as obvious as maybe Lego thought it was going to be. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, most people, it's probably their first year. It's our first year with them. So
yeah,
it's quite different. And so it's been been extra fun.
Vicky, that's why I like you, a person like me who doesn't understand, but doesn't work on the robots.
No.
Yeah, there you go. There's that program manager. That's great.
All right, so I'm in here. So I've connected my robot. And so I connect and it changed. Remember, it was kind of yellow before. So now it's blue. That means I'm connected. I'm connected by Bluetooth. So I've got dashboard. I've got manage programs. So these are all the programs that I have in there. So I know I've got touch. I've got actually 3 gyro turns. So I got crazy and downloaded the wrong ones. I've got a line follow. So this is how I can delete them. And they do ask you. And then to move, whoops. I believe I just grabbed this, and that moved what slot it was in. You see that went from 0 to 2.
Yeah.
I personally would not trust that. I think it probably works, but I would actually have the kids physically download it, and then I would have them test. Is 2 really our touch program or our whatever program? I'm a little nuts that way, but that's what works for me. So I would not trust just the switching, just saying. But this is how you can delete programs. This is the only way to delete programs off your hub.
Oh,
which is
okay,
what
then,
we do.
is that a pull down over there, like those 2 lines? Is there other options or that's just to move it?
It's just to grab it.
Okay, so then you would have to go and go back to the program screen and load these into the right number.
You
Or
don't
into the-
have to, because supposedly this now is there. But like I said, I wouldn't trust that. I would only use this to see what programs are where. Okay, let's write these down and then delete things that I know I don't need 3 gyro turns. So I would figure out which one is working, which one's correct, and I would delete the other one off there just so I don't have that on my hub. We just don't want to make it harder for the kids.
Yeah, no, that was very good, very helpful. I think people will, especially, yeah, you'll have a lot of gyro turns in there in slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
The same program, maybe. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
And then people have questions about that, feel free to give me a holler and I can walk you through your own personal robot and hub and those sorts of things. That's what I like to do. That's the fun part of my job.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions about the robot game or robot specific? Because we can.
No.
I don't think so.
All right. So we look forward to seeing you guys in how many weeks? 2? 2.5? Something like that.
2.7,
Yeah.
1.7. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we will see you guys at Capitol Hill. And if you have any questions, again, robot questions, definitely go to Jeannie. And we hope to get your detailed team schedule. So exactly what time you'll be doing each robot match and exactly what time you'll be doing your 2 judging presentations. Hopefully those will be up on the website tomorrow. Is that what you said, Jeannie?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna I'll stay tonight and get it done.
Okay. Okay. So, and then I think that's it. And please
it.
don't forget to fill out your demographic survey. That's my last plug for that one. All right. Thank you guys for coming. And again, I apologize for the weirdness with the link. I don't know what happened. But
No worries. Super.
it's
Thanks.
anyway, so thank you guys and good luck.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
help, Vicky. Thanks, Jeannie.
Yep.
You're
Jenny?
welcome. All right.
Thank you.
Jenny,